Oh, hey there, comic fans. This is Comicfan with another humble haul. Um, since the last time we met, I went and visited, I don't know, one bookshop, one of my favorite um, comic book stores I love going to. It's a bit out of the way, a bit of a drive, but I always find something good there. And a surprising find at the end of just something that I don't normally see every day. So, with that said, go ahead and see who's in my chat really quick. Not too many, but that's okay. Some of my great friends, Gene, Paul Eats Peter, and not to be overshadowed, but my good friend Four Ways Flashers. Wow, it's kind of like all about comics. Oh, geez. I knew Gene Paul Speeder was going to say that. Yes, first again, there's been a little bit of a battle between Four-Way Flashers and Gene Paul Peter right now, trying to figure out who's going to be on top. But this is kind of like a all about comics reunion minus the little frost factor. But good to have you guys. And so I'll go ahead and start showing what I got. Not a big haul, but a haul nonetheless. Let's see. We've got the first place I went to, the little bookstore I went to. They relocated, and I happily found them again. So I found two books. First one being Amazing Spider-Man 568, second print variant. Not a whole lot about this. Just, I believe the issue after this is the first appearance of Anti-Venom. The cover hints at the first appearance, but no Anti-Venom in this issue whatsoever. And then the next one being Ultimate Fallout number 4. This one more significant because it has the second coming of Spider-Man. I'm not too thrilled about Mr. Morales, but to each his own. I guess it's like a Spider-Man for a new generation. I'm more favorable to Peter Parker, of course. That's the person I grew up with, and that's the person I'm more familiar with. I'm not too familiar I'm not really keen on another person filling another character's boots. Excuse me. What do we got here? Joker M21, good to have you with us. Thank you for joining. Let's see. Oh yeah, Sean's been outside shoveling a whole lot of snow. He's one of the few people I know that goes out in the middle of the night shoveling snow. Bizarre. Me, it's a nice day out, and I'm not wearing shorts yet, but still nice. Oh, yeah, okay. Four-Way Flashers just got rid of his first appearance of Miles Morales. I don't feel bad either because mine sold on eBay last night. That's why I'm doing the video, because I won't have this as of today. I had to get rid of him. Every time I have that book, I get rid of it. Let's see. The next little pickup I've got is... about 50 miles away from me, there's this gigantic, I wouldn't even call it a store nor a warehouse. It's in an industrial complex that has 5 rooms of books. And I know that Weapon X has mentioned it plenty of times, as countless others, called Spiro's Heroes. And it's very overwhelming if you don't give yourself a day, maybe a weekend, to go through the whole thing. Me, I had like 3 hours, which gave me enough time to go through more of the recent stuff. So amongst that, I came with a book that I've been looking for on my list for a while, but been a little disappointed with the conditions. I finally found one that I could actually deal with. G.I. Joe number 25 is the first appearance of Zartan, as well as a couple of others. I was pleasantly surprised that not only Zartan appears in this book, but it Junkyard and Mutt. Mutt actually being the owner, and Junkyard being the dog. And also, I believe Deep Six, G.I. Joe's little deep sea diver. So that was really a really, uh, what do I say, an issue full of surprises of first appearances. What do you mean, Junkyard Dog? JYD is a freaking WWE wrestler. What are you talking? It's JYD. You've got it all mixed up, four-way. It's Junkyard and Mutt, not Junkyard Dog. Also, for $1, I found this little surprising thing. It's Supernaturals #1, and I hardly ever see any of the other issues. I think it's what is it? Yes, it's a four issue series. But more importantly, it's always fun to see an issue that actually has the Halloween mask in there. This is not the one with the Ghost Rider mask, but if I could just get a close up of that there, and I'll probably show you the other half if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. There you go. So it's a fun thing to have. I just definitely felt like it was worth $1, and so did Spiro, or Elliot. So he gave it to me for $1. Alongside of that, I found another issue I was trying to find to complete my little Astonishing Tales run with Deathlock. Astonishing Tales #34. Good old-fashioned Rich Buckler artwork. Love it. Surprising thing, since the last time we talked, I was actually talking to a relative of Rich Buckler, and he was about to send away some of the or sell off some of his collection that he inherited. The kid was a tough nut to crack. I ended up not getting it after all, but I'm still talking to him. So that's the good and the bad of this situation. A very interesting thing, though, that it was a bunch of just boxes of unbagged stuff packed in normal boxes. Maybe they were in the Diamond distribution boxes. I couldn't tell for sure, but they were about that size. And it would have been interesting to see what was in there. Yep, four-way Mike Zeck is amazing. However, Mike Zeck, not in this book. I know that's an inside joke. Maybe I'll tell you guys sometime, but a little embarrassing thing that I don't care to mention. We've all made mistakes, four-way. Come on. I've seen you at your least sober, and you're not perfect. So while I was there with Elliot, I found the Jungle Action #1 for about $15. That's about the going rate, maybe less, but the condition that this was in, I would have definitely paid $15 for it. This is good cover art by John Buscema, and I don't think he does the interiors, but a beautiful cover. This book, I do believe, was unopened, well, before I actually opened it, because you can actually feel the little, I don't know what the technical term for them is, but the little imprints on the paper, where the pages were still snug, and kind of came apart when I opened it. So that was really cool. Finding an unopened book, it's always fun. And the last book I pulled from Spiro's Heroes was Our Worlds of War, Harley Quinn. I've had this book before. I let it go with a little bit of regret. I've never been a big fan of Jay Lee art, but Jay Lee does an amazing cover on this. And the rest of the book is a little to be desired. He doesn't do the interiors, but it's not very often where I say that I actually like a cover, because normally I go for a whole book in its entirety. But this time I'm a sucker for the cover. Now yesterday I made a little a little journey and came across some good stuff. The night prior to that, I actually saw what the person had, just a brief glimpse of what the person had, and it was a book I've been looking for quite a while. Unfortunately, that book was not to be had. It wasn't in my hands because it sold before I could get to it. Anyway, he had other stuff, and I'm kind of wondered if he still has more, because he didn't show me any of his collection. He just showed me some of the unique finds that I'm about to show you. So I'm wondering if it's worth it to give him a call again, and wondering if he's willing to part with any of his collection. I asked him if he had actually, if he was still collecting, and he said that every once in a while he'll pop into a comic book store, but that doesn't, I don't know if that leads to whether or not he still has his books. Anyhow, I came across a couple of these things. I know you probably saw in the screenshot that this is what I picked up. It's a collection of Fireside books, and these were published by Simon & Schuster in the mid 1970s, I think from 1974 to 1977, or maybe before and after, give or take a year. But these were introduced, this one particular is introduced as a 2-volume set. You'll see that this had Son of Origins and the origins of Marvel Comics. It's really nice to get them, although the sleeve is not in really good condition. You'll see there it's kind of split. But just to get them with the sleeve is pretty nice. I didn't mind that at all. So I'll go over a little bit of what we have here. The Origins of Marvel Comics by Stan Lee. Yeah, some of these things are not, I don't see them in videos too often. A lot of people don't put a spotlight on these 4-way. I've seen them from time to time. I've never really picked them up. And I don't know why. This time I was compelled to jump on them and get them as my own. So, as you can see by the cover here, this is the origin of Marvel Comics. Now, it's not necessarily so much as a biography or anything of Marvel Comics. It just basically reprints some of the early origins of Marvel characters, such as, you know, Incredible Hulk #1. That's really cool. I'm really excited to read these. And then later on, it will probably follow up with a famous battle. Actually, I think this one has. Okay, I think this one has four parts to it, and then it'll have like a famous battle between like. And I wouldn't ever recall Submariner and Hulk being a famous battle. I would figure that a famous battle for Hulk would be against Abomination or the Thing or something like that. But that's, I don't know, I guess Stan Lee thought that this was an important thing to put in at the moment. So, hey, Little Doom, what's going on? I would think maybe you've got some books. I'd like to see them. Oh, the interesting thing I need to bring up about Little Doom. Little Doom hit me up the other day about a book that he got on eBay. He picked up a book and was sending me some pics, wondering whether or not it was restored. I shared these pics with Gene Polly's Peter, and we looked them over and found that some of the books weren't necessarily restored, but were definitely tampered with. He showed me the inside, or the middle of the book, and found that there was rust on the inside of the pages, but strangely no rust on the staples. So I submitted the pictures to Gene Polly's Peter. We looked them over and determined that the staples were they were scraped and cleaned. Thanks for Sean for that. And Little Doom, I think you need to give some props to good old Gene Polly's Peter. Green salt and pepper. And yeah, so we figured out that some of that stuff had actually not. It does count as restoration, by the way. And I'd love to find out what what came of that, Little Doom? What happened with that book? Did you ask for a refund? Did you keep it? What happened? And while you tell us about that, I'll go on with the next book. The second book that came with that 2-volume set was Sons of Origins, which gives you more origins on more characters, such as you see it on the cover there. There's a reprinting of X-Men #1. There's an origin of Iron Man and Daredevil and Silver Surfer and everybody else that's on this cover. So it's cool stuff. Just like the others. Let me see if I can show you something. Yeah, so just like the other one, it shows an origin. It showed an origin before this of Iron Man, and then it shows the counter of Iron Man and Whiplash. How badass does Marvel Girl look? I don't know if anybody looked badass. But, yeah, okay, whatever floats your boat. And 2 more books on this. Where do I put this? I'll put this back in the sleeve for a second. Give me a moment. And what I didn't mention earlier is that these Fireside books came out before trade paperbacks. So this was kind of the introduction to a trade paperback and whatnot. So anybody who collects omnibuses and the like of trade paperbacks, this might be something that might be what you might be interested in, because it really gave birth to a whole new view to comic books, especially reprints. I'm not a little saucy today. In fact, I enjoy pepper on my food. I'm not a big salt person, Four-Way. Although, I would have to say that, for those who don't know and might be viewing this later, Four-Way just commented that I'm a little salty today. And I'm not. I'm actually really nice, very humble about things. Four-Way, on the other hand, is the king of salty. He is. In his last video, all Gene wanted was some books on his wall, and can you imagine that Four-Way told him to come and get them? Now, if anybody knows Gene well enough, Gene is on an island, a little island in the middle of nowhere. How is he supposed to get those books? I don't like that taunt, Four-Way. Oh, it does take one to know one. Okay, well, you know what? Well, all right, we'll talk about being salty later, not off camera. Okay, so what happened, Little Doom? Let's see. You would have loved for the seller to partial refund you like $100 or $150 and keep it because it's pretty, but you got a full refund. Okay. All right. Oh, you lost them. Okay, so we lost some e-bucks in the process, and it was a big dollar book. I remember how much you told me how much you spent on that. That's unfortunate. But geez, what did you do to get $28 in e-bucks? Man, I think the most I've had is maybe $2 in e-bucks. I'm not a big eBay purchaser. Anyway, on to the books here. The last 2 books I got from that guy was Bring on the Bad Guys, another Fireside book that is just great. And it's not necessarily a book of origins in this case. It's just a collection of some really great stories with that. So it basically covers Dr. Doom, Mephisto, Dormammu, Loki, and so on and so forth. A really great book. That's a nice collection. Yeah, I would. Yes, I agree. I agree, Sean, that is the superior of all the Fireside books. And the last one I've got here is the Superhero Women, also by Stan Lee in Fireside books. Now that I look at these, geez, there was 2 more that he had that I did not snatch up. One being Famous Battles, and there was another smaller format book called just Spider-Man by Stan Lee. It was a reprinting of some of the classic stories. Although I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. I paid $10 a piece for each book. So these cost me $40, and there was 2 books left behind, and I didn't feel like paying $60. So anyway, Superhero Woman, I think I really connected with this one because it's got a famous story, famous to me, but it's a favorite story of mine. That being, Beware the Claws of the Cat. And it reprints this, and I'm really excited because I have these in single issues, but I'm always excited to see these again. In this one, something just by flipping open, Stanley does a little nod to Marie Severin. So I thought that was really great. And if you can read that for a second, I'll pan over to it. Where are we? Come on. There we go. To the marvelous Marie Severin, illustrator, cartoonist, and lovely lady, truly one of the real-life superwomen in our merry, mixed-up Marvel universe. That was a nice thing to do. So that's that. The one book I did not get was a book that was pretty hard to find. It was the Fun and Fitness issue, and I don't know if many people have seen that. I've only seen it in pictures, particularly the one I just missed. Just by 5 minutes, I asked if the guy still had it, and he'd sold. I can't imagine why this guy didn't pick up the rest of them, but if it was had anything to do with a money value kind of thing, then yes, I can see why he only took one book. These books here aren't should be worth more, but they're really not. I would have to say that I probably paid retail on these being $10 a piece, even in the condition they're in. But I would much rather pick these up in person rather than on eBay. It's just something I liked. I like more of the interaction between people, and eBay seems a little cold. It's just not a place for people to interact. It's a place to purchase. So, other than that, I would say they were good pickups. With that said, Contender, geez. Wow, you came in here just in the nick of time. By the way, Contender's last haul was amazing. Contender, I believe, is a proud owner of Journey into Mystery number 83. Props to you, Contender. That's a good book. I've never come close to getting that book. Oh, hey, Wine 49er. Nice of you to come and join us today. Like I said, I met Wine the 49er at the Orbelinda show a couple weeks ago. The Contender said he was there, but I don't recall seeing him or us bumping into each other. But that's okay. It was a good show for some. I didn't walk away with too much. I walked away with some off my wish list, but that's okay. What's it? Oh. Anyway, just something going on in the chat. But anyway, I've still got some money left over. I just figured I'd post up a quick video, even though this wasn't very quick. I thought it would only be about 10 minutes. Yeah, it was a great show for Bronze Age books. You're correct. I didn't find too much in the way of Silver and Golden Age, but there was some deals to be had. Other than that, like I said, I've got some money left over. I was kind of just going to get one more big book and do another video, do this video, but you know what? I stayed away for a couple of weeks, and I thought it was just time to put up another one and chat and check in with everybody else. So everything's good. So that's all I've got for today. And in the meantime, I know this is new book Wednesday, so go out and get what you guys got to get. So until next time, this is Comicfan, and we will see you later. And as always, happy hunting. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.